Hi guys, so the public has been polled on their reaction to Priti Patel and the Home Office's new plan to ship refugees and asylum seekers to Rwanda for what many thought was processing, but instead seems to be for punishment. The Tories have been in some Orwellian way claiming that the African nation is both a deterrent to those seeking to arrive on UK shores, but also a wonderful place to live as the economy is booming, and as long as you ignore the past and current human rights issues, is a fantastic place to settle and make a life for yourself. This man called into the show hosted by Tory boy Andrew Pearce from LBC to say that he would have wanted something much more draconian. Have a listen.
Statistics, figures, numbers and facts aren't racist. They're just facts. 2 plus 2 equals 4. It doesn't matter if the colours are black, white or yellow. It takes 5 hours for an inflatable to cross the English Channel. It takes probably 5 months for the accommodation that might house those people to be built. And we've got more dinghies coming across every day. So the question I ask every single person who favours unlimited immigration, and they all seem to happen to be on the unaccountable left wing of politics.
Who's calling for unlimited immigration? And once again, and I'm not playing semantics here, but we're not talking about immigration, we're talking about refugees and asylum seekers. We're not talking about immigrants because obviously I presume this man would support more immigration because he probably voted for Brexit. I don't know, but I have an inkling. But because of his vote, there are fewer people working in hospitals. The NHS requires more staff. The hospitality sector is short of workers. There aren't enough fruit pickers. There aren't enough heavy goods vehicle drivers. There aren't enough abattoir workers. So he should actually be supportive of immigration. But we're not talking about immigration here. We're talking about refugees.
Is where are we going to put them? All you've got to do is catch a northbound 24 bus from outside Leicester Square, your offices, come up to Queen's Crescent and have a look around the estates here. We've got adult children living with their parents in the second bedroom. Some of them are nearing, are over 16. I can think of one family in particular already. They are being bumped down. That's not the 16-year-olds, the adults. They're bumped down continuously down the waiting lists because yet another crisis, a humanitarian crisis, sees more refugees dumped on the councils, and the councils say, well, these people are homeless. They don't even have their parents' spare room to stay in, so they get priority, and so the adult children wait and wait and wait, and they go from being 18 to 19 to 20 to 24, and they're still on the council waiting list.
Now, he's raising a very interesting point here. I'm not disagreeing with him that there is an issue of housing. But the problem with that is you're focusing, the caller is focusing on the refugees and not focusing on the core problem here, the lack of housing. Why isn't he upset with the government for not providing enough housing for people? The refugees, we're talking about a few thousand people. They're not going to upset the apple cart in a sense that these people are not going to be able to get a house. They're already on a list, on a queue. They're in a queue to get a house. Why is that? Why is there not enough housing available for these young people? Instead of actually being angry with the refugees, this caller should be angry with the government because they're the ones who are responsible for this. They're the ones who plough money in, or don't, as the case may be, into new housing, to provide affordable housing to the people of the country. If the people of the country are on a housing list, if they're waiting for accommodation, then this is not the problem of the refugees. But of course he's missing the point here because he supports a party that has made sure that there is a lack of housing. And who does he blame for this? Of course, the refugees. And why does he blame them? Because the government convinced them, look, there are too many refugees and they're taking up all our houses. Look, let's say, for example, let's look at it from a different angle. if someone, it doesn't have to be somebody from outside the country, but if somebody moves to an area and they're earning a huge salary, let's say they're a specialist in a hospital or whatever, I don't know how much they earn, let's say £10,000 a month. If that person is looking for accommodation, well, they're going to drive up the price of accommodation in that area because of their ability to pay more. Add another few thousand people like that, and it's going to drive up house prices. That's going to push people who can't afford those properties out of that market completely. But I don't hear people complaining about that.
So I ask all these lefties and people like Radu who favour unlimited immigration, that's all very fine, but where are we going to put them?
Well,
Am I in favour of this policy? Oh, yes. I'm sorry that it only isn't even being backdated for 1 year. I'd want 4 at least.
Right, but
backdated 4 years.
What about the argument, Andrew? It's not the genuine asylum seekers' fault that there's not been enough provision for housing and infrastructure in the country, and that we have a duty to help them if they are genuinely fleeing persecution in Syria or Afghanistan.
The first duty of every government is to keep its own citizenry safe and well.
Then why do you vote for a party that does not do that? I don't know who this guy votes for, but I imagine, I could put money on it that he votes for the Conservative Party, or maybe UKIP, okay, but probably a Conservative Party supporter. So why would you support a party that doesn't look after people? You're complaining that, we need to look after our own first, but the Conservatives don't. Take any Tory MP, pretty much any Tory MP, go to theyworkforyou.com, I think it is. You can find their voting record. I've covered it before on the channel. Go there and look at their voting record and look at housing and social issues. And under housing, you'll find that the vast majority of them have consistently voted against our own people. Okay? Have consistently voted against better welfare, linking welfare to inflation, for example. Consistently voted against the bedroom tax. Consistently voted against providing jobs for young people. Consistently voted against, for example, what was it there 2 years ago about the free school meals? I think it was 99% of the Tory party voted against free school meals for poor children. So don't come with this, we need to look after our own, when you support a party that doesn't look after its own.
And successive governments have failed in that regard. These people who come over, this policy, which is targeted at the people who seek to come over illegally.
There isn't coming over illegally. That is nonsense. It doesn't make any sense. You don't come over illegally. The only way somebody could be, quote unquote, an illegal immigrant would be if they come over with a visa, and the visa was for example, 3 months, and they were still in the country after 3 months and they had not received a new visa. Then they would be over their visa and they would be considered undocumented, or if you want to say, illegal. But there is no coming to the country illegally. It isn't illegal to travel to the country. Doesn't matter how you arrive. It's not illegal. That is not illegal. You've been listening to the Daily Mail or listening to talk radio or whoever for too long to believe that it's illegal to travel across the sea and claim. This is about claiming asylum. We're not talking about people who want to work on farms. We're talking about people who are arriving in the country and making a claim of asylum. And you can't determine, you don't know who's going to arrive, who's arriving to work on a farm, or who's arriving to claim asylum until you actually process them, until you actually meet them and have interviews with them and get them to complete paperwork. Then you determine, okay, this person is here making an asylum claim and this person is here just to work.
These people have already passed through several safe countries to come to the UK.
It's not about the safe. Once again, this is somebody who has no understanding of the UN conventions.
They had ample time to make an asylum claim in Holland, France, Belgium, wherever, Germany even, before they, Italy maybe, before they came to cross the Channel. I'm intensely relaxed about this policy, and as I say, I wish it was slightly more draconian.
And Andrew Pierce did not there was no pushback by Andrew Pierce. No, wait a minute. How is it possible for me to question what this person is saying, to call them out and say, no, this is actually wrong? Or, sorry, you're confused. How is it possible for me to do that? Andrew Pierce, who is, I presume, a journalist, can't do that. Or maybe he just doesn't want to. Let me know in the comment section, guys, what you think about all of this. As always, your comments are greatly appreciated. Thanks a lot.